Hello everyone, I'm Vikas from Small Academy and welcome to another video on Android note-taking application development with Firebase. In the last video, we created the anonymous user and we also added the access label to the particular user who is logged into our application so that they can create the private note, and those notes are only visible to those user who is currently logged in and other user cannot use that. Okay. So in the process, we created the user specific document in the notes collection, and inside that we also added the new collection called my notes, and inside that we added all the notes created by the particular user, and we also displayed that in the main activity. In this part, we are finally going to connect our application to the real account using the email and password. All right. So we will merge the anonymous account with the real account. So we'll let the user add all the details, and using that we will do all the required things to convert the anonymous user into the real user so that they can have all the notes they created as an anonymous user within the database so that they can access it anywhere. Okay. So I'm thinking of making this two-part video on the authentication, because first one is for register activity and second one is for the login activity, because I want to do everything in extended version so that you will understand what I'm doing here. Okay. And if you want to learn more about authentication, I already have other video on the channel as well, so I'll link that video in the description for the Firebase authentication with email and password. So if you want to watch that video, you can go and watch that, but you don't really need to do that because I'm going to do the same thing here as well. So let's open the Android Studio and start adding the authentication. So first thing I want to do is I want to go to the register activity here, and whenever I want to enable the back button, because if you remember, we don't have the back button in our register activity. So if I go to the logout here and click on sync note, it's going to send me to the fire notes here, and we don't have the back button here, right? So let's enable the back button first, and we can enable the back button using get support action bar and display home op as enabled and make it true. And also I have updated my Android Studio to 3.6. so if you haven't done that, you can do that. You can see all the important changes here as well, because it is displaying some other theme, and this font is really appealing. I think I kind of like it. So let's enable the back button. And now I'm going to handle the click on back button, so I can handle that using on option item selected. So whenever somebody click on that back button, I want to send him to the main activity. Okay. So that's why I'm going to start new activity here. Inside this, new intent, and let's get the current context and the one we want to go to the class. All right, and we don't want them to come back here, so let's just add this finish. Okay. So now whenever now the back button will be enabled and somebody click on that, they are going to go back to the main activity. So let's add that. And now I'm going to show you what happens if I click on the back button. So if I click on back button, it's going to exit the application. Okay, just like that. So let's run these applications and see the changes. Okay, the app is running now and we are in the main activity. So I'm going to go to the logout here and click on sync note. It's going to send us to this register activity. So I also want to change this note as well, but let me show you what happens if I click on back button. It's going to send me to the main activity. All right. So let's change the title in the register activity there. So get support action bar, the say title. I will give the name as create new account. Okay, because basically we are creating new account here. Okay, let's just give fire notes account, and inside this activity we are going to do some typical stuff like let me go to the logout once again and show you what we have. So we are going to extract the data, whatever the user have entered here, because we want the user to add all the data here, and we will validate the data. If they are empty, we are not going to let user create new account. And if they are not, and if the password is confirmed as well, then we're going to let the user create new account. And once the new account is created, we'll send user to the main activity. Okay. And if user wants to log in, they can click here and they'll be sent back to the login activity. And there they can use their existing account with email and password to log into our application. Okay. So let's first extract all this data. Let me open the layout for this register file, register activity. So we have this activity register and we have this design. As you know, all of this field is having its own ID. So this have username, user email, password, and the confirm password. Okay. So let's create edit text field in our register activity. So close all these things, we don't need that. And now here I'm going to create the required variables for the edit text view. Okay, so I'll create edit text. I'm going to create an instance of edit text variables, edit text class. First thing we need is, so register user name, register in the sort R, user email, confirm pass. Okay, so these are the variables, and we have one button. Okay, and button is for create account. So I'm just going to give sync account as a variable name, and we have one more text view there to send user back to the login activity. Okay, so now let's bind the view with the XML resources here. So edit text, our username equals to find view by id, r.id, and the username. Okay, so that is the ID of the user, full name field that we have given here, that is username. Make sure these match the ID that we have given here, because if your other activity have the same username, same ID, then it's going to get conflicted and it's going to give you error. Okay, so make sure they are unique. So our user email. So these are the variables that we have bind to the view. So now we can use these variables to extract the data, but we'll extract the data only when somebody click on the sync node button. All right, so let me get the resources first button and the text view as well. And we also have the progress bar. So let me create the variable for progress bar as well. Now I'm going to handle the click on the sync account button. So sync account, let's set on click listener, new on click listener, and inside this we are going to extract the data from the username, email, and password. So first thing, so let's extract that using the string variables. So username equals to, we can use our username dot get text and convert them to string. And similarly I'll extract the data for all the variable name we have here. So I'll do that now. Okay, now we have all the data we need. Now I'm going to check if they are empty. If one of these data are empty, then we're going to display the error or toast message to the user saying that we need all the fields. So I'm going to do that first. So if dot is empty, or we're going to use or operator here, username dot is empty, or then we will display the toast message saying that all. Now if the fields are not empty, then I'm going to check if the confirm password and user password are same. If not, then we'll display the error. Okay, so if, okay, so to compare the string, we can use equals method of the string class. So let's use that. So user pass dot equals, and I'll pass the user confirm confirm pass. All right, so if this is equals, then we'll do something. So if they are not equals, so if the user pass not equals to the confirm pass, then we'll set the error to the our user pass saying that it is not matching. okay, and return the control flow, or actually that is not required. Okay, now if this both condition is true, then we can proceed to merge the anonymous account with the real account. So, and to do that we need the instance of Firebase auth. So Firebase auth, let's create the new variable fauth and get the new instance for that as well. So fauth equals to Firebase auth dot get instance. All right, now we can use this Firebase auth to link the account. Okay, before actually doing that, I'm gonna make sure these things are working here. So if both condition is passed, I'm gonna display some message here just to test right now, just to debug. Okay, passed. Okay, so it will, if all the fields are not empty and password is equal, then it is going to display the condition is passed message in our activity. So let's go to the application and check that by running this application now. So run this. Okay, the application is running here, and I'm gonna go to the logout, but instead of clicking on logout and syncing the nodes, I'm going to implement this sync node button here, because we have this dedicated button to let the user connect a new account to this node application. All right, so let's go and implement that first, and we'll go to the register activity. So in the main activity I have handled that, and here, so I'm going to copy the same block of code and paste it here, and instead of checking logout we'll use the sync. So if user is trying to sync new account, we will send them to the for now we'll send them to the register activity directly, but later we'll send them to the login activity. Okay, because we have not implemented the login activity yet, so I'm just going to send them to the register activity for the testing purpose. So new intent. Okay, so let's run this again and we will check the features that we have implemented. Okay, the app is running now, and now if I click on the sync node button here, it's going to send me to the create new Fire Nodes account. Okay, so this title is little bit longer here, so I'm gonna trim that because that do not look appropriate. So let me remove this new from here. Okay, so maybe I'll just use Fire Node account. Okay, let me go to the sync node again, and now we have this connect to Fire Nodes, and we have all these options. Now let's see what happens if I click on sync now without adding any data. It's going to say that all fields are required, and it's not going to do anything. So let me give some data here. Okay, I'm going to give some slightly mistake password, and it should check that confirm password here. So let's see, it says password do not match. All right, but let me give the same password now, and it said the condition is passed. Okay, so this is working fine. Now let's go to the register.java file and start linking our application to the new real user. Okay, so we have the instance of Firebase auth now. So there is a standard procedure that we need to follow to link the anonymous account with the real account. Okay, so first we need to create the auth credential, and after that we need to connect that auth credential with the anonymous account. To create the auth credential, we need this username and password that the user have given here while creating the account. So, and using the auth credential, we can create the new credential for that user. So auth credential, I'm gonna say it as credential, and email auth, we need to use email auth provider here. So email auth dot get credential, and it takes two parameter, that is username and the password. Okay, so username in the sense email in our case, so user email, and the password, that is user pass. Okay, so it will create the new credential, and using that we can link the anonymous user with this real account that we are going to create now. Now I can use fauth.get current user, which is anonymous in our case, and we can use the special method called link with credential. Okay, so this is going to merge the anonymous account with the real account. So now here I need to pass the credential that I just created. So credential. Okay, Now we can handle the event. That is, if the account is linked successfully, it's going to display the link successful message. Otherwise, it's going to display the error message that whatever we got. Okay. So I'm gonna add the success listener here. So add on success listener. Okay. And if the account is linked successfully, I'm going to display the message node are synced, and I'm gonna send him to the new activity, main activity. So start new activity here, new intent, get application context, and the main activity. All right. But I'm also going to add the failure listener here, just to make sure that if we got any error, then we will be able to handle that. But okay, I'll display the message that says fail to connect, and we'll not do anything here. We'll let the user try again. Okay. So add the message, try again, close this. Now this block of code should be able to link our current user with the new email and password, new user with the email and password. Okay. Now, so whenever the user is linked with the email and password, then if the user click on sync node again, then we will not let him go to the login or register authentication activity, because he is already logged in. So to prevent that from to prevent the user to going to the register activity when they click on sync node menu, that is here. So if he is successfully linked to the new account, then I don't want him to go to that same activity, register activity, when he click here. Okay. I want to display message that says your account is already connected or something like that. Okay. So I want to disable this functionality here. So to disable that, first I need to check if the user is currently anonymous or not. So we will only let the anonymous user go to the sync node facility. Okay. So to check I will check that here in the main activity, in the on navigation item selected. So before starting this new activity here, I'm gonna check. Okay. So to check that user is anonymous or not, I'll just create so I can use the user object that we have here. So user is anonymous. If this is true, then I'll send him to the register activity here. Otherwise, I'll display the toast message that says you are already connected with the account. Okay. Okay. So it will display the you are connected message. So that means user already have the real account with us. Okay. Okay. Now let's go ahead and run this application and see if we can actually merge the account or not. So run this again. Okay. The app is running here. And now let me go to the sync node option. Okay. We can go to this connect new account here. That means user is anonymous. Now I'm going to give the username, and I'm going to use one of my email here, and I'll give the password as 123456, same password. Okay. Now if I click on sync now button, it should link me to the anonymous account. So let me go to the console here and show you we have one anonymous account here, right? And now I'm gonna merge that by clicking on the sync now, and we'll see what happens here. Okay. So click on sync now. If this is successful, okay, it says node are synced. That means we have successfully synced our node. And now I'm gonna refresh this, and you should see the difference here. Okay. So we don't have that anonymous user anymore, but the ID is same. If you remember, the ID is same here, but we have now identifier as the email, and it said the provider is the Google email authentication. Okay. That means we have successfully connected our user or merged our anonymous user account with the real account. So just to test, I'm going to click on sync node now, and it should not let me go to the that register activity. So click on that. It says you are connected, and we are not going anywhere. Okay. So guys, this is it for this video. In this video, we learned how to merge anonymous account with the real account. Now in the next part, we'll let the user log in with the existing account. So for now, I'm gonna end this video here. I'll see you in the next part. Bye bye. Have a good day.